If you're a man over 40 and you fail these 2 hip tests, then your body is going to start compensating somewhere else and move you towards stiffness and injury. So think about your body like a car. If you get a problem in one area and you don't fix it, then it causes a whole host of other problems elsewhere in the vehicle. And you know how expensive that gets. And the embarrassing thing that I have to admit is I ignored these 2 warning signs and ended up tearing my groin as a result. Believe it or not, strong-looking men can still have weak hips. If you lose that strength and control of your hips as you age, then you can become stiffer, weaker, and more injury prone. So don't be fooled by guys that look strong or if you feel strong in particular movements. So in this video, I'm going to break it down into 2 parts. Part 1, I'm going to show you 2 hip tests you ideally need to reduce the stiffness, weakness, and the risk of injuries as you age. And then in part 2, I'll teach you the 2 key exercises you can implement that can fix the problem and help your joints get strong and moving well again. So before we get into the 2 hip tests that you need to pass, I want to quickly show you why this is important. As I mentioned to you before, if you don't address the weak areas of your body, you will start to overcompensate. What will then happen is that you will avoid particular movements purely because they become too difficult for you to be able to do. Once this happens, you start to lose the confidence in your body because you no longer trust yourself to be able to get into positions or to get out of them again. If you're already experiencing this loss of confidence within your body, then you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel because these videos are going to help you. So let's jump into part 1. The 2 hip tests that you ideally need to reduce stiffness, weakness, and the risk of injuries as you age. So the first test that we're going to be looking at is the Copenhagen Plank. This is going to basically test the strength of your adductors, which is basically the muscles on the inside of the groin and the hips. Now this test looks simple, but if you start shaking, collapsing, cramping, or you simply can't hold a position comfortably for at least 20 seconds, then that is a big warning sign. And this is the complete warning sign that I ignored, which then led to my groin tear. So why does this matter? Because the adductor muscles on the inside of your thigh help to stabilize your hips when you run, change direction through any physical games that you want to participate in. So regardless of the activity, you need to be physically capable in a physical world. So here's how you conduct this test. So you can set this test up at home or in the gym, with just one leg elevated in the Copenhagen Plank position. Keep your body in one straight line, lift up your hips, tense your torso, remain in a steady position, and then you need to be able to hold this position now and maintain it for 20 to 30 seconds without pain, shaking, or any collapse. Now the next test is going to be the hip internal rotation test. This is the aspect of being able to control the rotational element of your hips. So what I want you to do is to stand up and balance on one leg, placing the thumbs either side of the hips and walk around the balancing leg, keeping the toe pointing at 12 o'clock. Once you reach a point of slight spring in that tension in the hips there, that's the point there where you've got to now look down at the fingers and look and create a line. So here is around about 30 degrees from the original starting off position there. That's the amount of rotation that I've got there in those hips. So if you can see now on this side, I'm going to walk around that foot. I'm going to wait till I find a little bit of springy tension on the right side. Once I hit that, then I can then look down at where the line is. And I'm looking there roughly around about 30 degrees, which is a pretty poor score for this test. Ideally, we want to be hitting 45 degrees without too much springy tension. You can also create a false positive as well by going past that point of springy tension into a real strong point. So you're trying to there really force it. So as you can see here, I can actually get past that point, but I've gone way beyond that point of springiness. It now starts to become in quite an aggressive stretch almost. And so actually this is a false positive. So make sure that you're just looking for that springy tension. If you can't control this movement, if you wobble, lose balance, or your range is poor, that tells us that your hips are losing movement options. And when you lose movement options, your knees, your groin, your lower back start overcompensating. So if you've not done well at one or either of these tests, then there is some good news because here's how you're going to fix it. So in the case of the Copenhagen Plank test, what we're actually going to do is use the test as the exercise, and the exercise is going to be the test. So you're going to set up the same way that you did with the Copenhagen test. And so we're going to put yourself in that plank position there, and you're going to hold it and remain firm and hold it on for as long as you possibly can, preferably 20 to 30 seconds. And you're going to do this now 3 times. You're going to take 60 seconds rest in between each set and do this 2 to 3 times per week. So remember, over time, this exercise is really going to help you strengthen your adductor muscles, so the inside of the thigh, that are going to be there to help you stabilize force. So fix number 2 is going to be hip aeroplanes. This is going to be to show you how to control the rotation of your hips under load. So what I want you to do is to find a stable platform. I want you to balance on one leg, and then with the opposite hand, you're then going to go into internal rotation. So you're going to put the back leg out, and then you're going to try to bring yourself into that rotation of that hip and feel a big stretch in that glute, and then try to rotate your pelvis out of it. So you're really trying to squeeze the glute in rotation as you're pulling yourself out, and then moving into a deep rotational stretch there in that hip on that balancing leg. Keep taking your time with this, nice and slow repetitions. Try and control it all the way through, and just try and control that rotation, get a big deep stretch, and then before bringing it back. I want you to do 6 to 8 repetitions of this, and you want to be doing 2 to 3 sets in a session. You definitely want to be aiming to do this now 2 to 3 times per week, and then you'll be on the road to strong, stable hips. So remember, this exercise will help you regain that control and strength of your hips that stretching alone will never be able to do. So doing both these exercises now 2 to 3 times a week will dramatically reduce the risk of you getting injured, and also help you really improve that strength and mobility within the hips. So if you failed any of these 2 tests today, then don't make the stupid mistake that I did, and make sure that you address the issue, otherwise your body will force you to slow down through an injury. So start rebuilding and strengthening your hips now, and you'll soon become a lot stronger, more capable, and a lot less injury prone. If you want my step-by-step guide of how you can assess other areas of your hips, then simply comment the word hips below, and I'll send you over access to my free hip mobility program. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how I rebuilt the strength in my groin area, and then started to integrate my normal training regime with my injury. So fellas, I hope this video has helped you out. Please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.